Look how long their bills are. Corned beef hash, bacon, eggs.
We are ready to.
We're up, getting ready to go out on the swamp. There were some libations consumed last night.
In grand fashion.
So we're running a little behind schedule. But everyone's up, and looks like a beautiful day. It's a little foggy. We got to get down to the Okefenokee and get our boat, and then we're headed out. And John is my buddy here. His dad was the head park ranger for the Okefenokee.
He was the state park manager for Stephen Foster State Park.
Okay, and so you grew up on the Okefenokee.
I did. I grew up on the island, Jones Island, where Stephen Foster sits. The state of Georgia leased it from the federal government.
Okay.
And it's the only state park that sits inside of a national wildlife refuge in the country.
Okay. So we are going to have an expert tour guide. He's going to take us. He's going to tell us all the little facts about the Okefenokee. He knows the backwaters and everything. So we'll see you when we get in the boat. But right now we're going to have this wonderful breakfast. Dr. Turley, you got anything to add to that?
I can't wait to get some of this corned beef hash, fried eggs, and bacon. Tastes so good, make your tongue slap your brains out.
Back in a little bit.
Good thing we didn't get that on camera. Sorry. Man, it's free balling back here.
We're at a day use place on Minnie's Lake,
Yes.
which basically is just a wider, deeper part of the channel we've been riding in. We've seen a couple of alligators, but not like the last time I was here. We think it's because we're a little later in the year. It's the middle of the day too, so maybe by the afternoon we'll see more alligators. We're stopping for lunch or for a beverage. What do we got there today? Swamp God John, Swamper John. This is Swamper John Thomas.
Swamper John, huh?
Yeah, I like that name. I think we just gave you a new name. Swamper John. Got numerous things in there. Let me show you around. They even have a little bathroom here. Dan, go swimming right here, buddy.
Yeah, go swim right here.
You're right here and you can get in and out. Yeah, it's a little nippy.
Well, it's mostly spring water and rainfall.
Please don't actually do it.
Well, if I did, I would just jump in and get wet and come back out.
Well, go for it.
I would step in where I you, because there's likely to be a stump or a log or.
Very slick right there on that board.
You gonna go in?
Well, since you have the camera going, I guess I will.
Saving face. He's been talking about swimming since before we left, and we told him this isn't necessarily the best place in the world to go swimming.
We saw an alligator on that.
Yeah, there was an alligator right there when we pulled in. So I think you'll be okay right here, though.
He's not big enough to hurt you.
It's fall in South Florida, or South Georgia and Florida, and you know what fall means here? Absolutely nothing. It's 86 degrees, the humidity's high, 72%, it probably feels like 90. So welcome to fall in South Georgia, North Florida.
Would you like weed?
You not gonna go in? I think he's trying to cool off.
A healthy population of otter and beaver. The alligators kind of keep them in check, though.
Okay.
Because we have an extraordinarily large population of alligators. There's 15 to 20,000 alligators in the Okefenokee.
Yep, and some reason they're hiding from us today. We've seen a couple, and I think we're going to see a lot more before today's out.
Well, as the heat of the day comes on, the alligators will get a little more active, but we're starting to head into the fall, and we're cool enough here to where they do hibernate.
So what's some of the bigger animals? I mean, obviously black bear are here, and also what about wolves and coyotes and things like that?
We don't have any wolves. We do have a large coyote population.
You ever hear them?
Yeah,
Okay.
You can hear them at night.
And what about my favorite animal of all? Is there a Bigfoot here?
No, there is no Bigfoot here.
Then I don't know why I'm here.
we have never had a sighting of Bigfoot
Or anything like it.
Because he likes Bigfoot. That's why he has that Bigfoot shirt on. Is
Yep.
someone trying to make my jag?
I don't know what that is. Tell your dad let you borrow his pocket knife. You carved something there. So, what about bald eagles and things like that?
We do have bald eagles, osprey,
Can you give me your pocket knife so
a good population of kingfishers.
Have you ever been out here overnight?
Yeah.
What's it like? What's the difference at night and day? I mean, other than the obvious, it's dark, but is it a different world? Does it take on a different...
It does take on a different air. It is very, very quiet. There's no motor noise. There's no rumbling in the distance.
What about owl? You hear owls and bullfrogs and...
I mean, what you hear right now are warblers and mockingbirds, and the bug noise that you hear are cicada.
By the way, how big is the Okefenokee?
The Okefenokee is 454,000 acres. It's about 650 square miles.
Okay, and the vast majority of it's not ever visited or traversed or...
The vast majority of it is not accessible except by wading through the muck and the mud and You just don't want to do that. It's
So there's just a lot of places that are just untouched and left
absolutely
alone.
untouched.
Wow. Something about that I really like.
About 2 miles that way, there is an island called Minnie's Island. And Minnie's Island, my brother and I walked in there when the water was low. I guess I was 10 or 11 years old. And I think that's probably the last time white people owned that island. The Seminole Indians and the Creek Indians inhabited the Okefenokee for a couple thousand years. And they were pushed out by the cavalry in the late 1800s.
Well, right now, if we were quiet, and I'll give you like 10 or 15 seconds of just nothing, so everybody be real quiet. I want you to hear this. It's not often you get away from man-made noise. I can hear some mechanization somewhere over here. It's probably a boat, but it's well off, and you really have to strain to hear it. But just to hear silence is pretty amazing these days.
Yeah, and that's one of the fun things about being out here at night. But if there is no moon, there is no light, and it is hand in front of your face, darkness. You can't see anything.
I would get the heebie-jeebies out here at night by myself.
Well, when I was a little boy, my dad tried to make me feel better by telling me that if I couldn't see it, it couldn't see me. But
Yeah.
as I grew up, I figured out that was not true.
Okay.
There are things out there that have better eyesight than ours.
Well, okay, it is Halloween. This is our Weekend Nomads Halloween Spooktacular, Swamptacular. Julie's she's up in Salem, Massachusetts, the home of the Salem witch hunts and trials. And I'm here. Is there any kind of creepy story or anything about this swamp, or people that have gone missing or anything?
Well, I mean, in recent years, there have been people that have gone missing. They usually are found
Deceased.
Sometimes deceased. About 25 years ago, they found airplane wreckage in the swamp.
I wonder if it's D.D. Cooper. No, I know he jumped out, didn't he?
Yeah, he jumped out over Oregon, so I don't think they found him in the Okefenokee Swamp.
You never know.
Never know. The local lore around here is the Waregator.
The Waregator. So it's a man that turns into an alligator.
It's half man, half gator.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll check out the Waregator.
Yeah, maybe we'll see the Waregator.
I've heard of a crocaгаtor. You know what a crocagator is, right?
I've heard the term.
It's a gator with a head on both ends, and it doesn't have a butthole, so it can't use the bathroom, and it's extremely grumpy. Okay. Jack, what you think about the swamp?
It was good. I had a wonderful time.
Well, what do you think about it? Is it creepy? Is it fun?
It's fun. I saw 2 alligators already.
Saw 2 alligators? Yeah. We're going to an island that used to have an old city on it, an old town on it that's empty now, and we're going to walk around and explore that. What do you think about that?
Cool.
And it's got a cemetery on it, too.
A cemetery? I like cemeteries.
You like cemeteries? Okay. So what's the biggest thing you notice about this swamp that's different from back home?
There is a bunch of lily pads.
Bunch of lily pads? Yeah, they're everywhere, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'm going to check back with you when we get to Billy's Island, okay?
Okay.
Probably 9 feet.
See him? See if you can get me in there.
I think that's a dead one.
Get you pointed that way, but
I think that one's
he's gonna
dead.
go under.
You got a log right here.
Where is he?
Woo, don't get me too much closer, John. He's hissing.
I don't think he's afraid of you, Freddie. Get a little closer.
No.
Oh, let me get a picture with my cell phone.
Like I said, they're not intimidated by us.
No.
Okay, go closer, go closer.
Let me get my cell phone.
When they get that big, they're not afraid of you.
He's back up there, John. I want him to
That's
run
about a
down.
9-foot alligator right there.
Hang on.
We're gonna try to get a little closer in on him. He is not scared of us at all. In fact, he started hissing.
I heard that. Listen.
Yeah.
Man, that's about as close as I want to get you with the boy in the boat.
Yeah.
See it? Belly bear.
Yep, we're good.
That was cool.
Okay, we're here on Billy's Island, right? Okay, and what were you talking about?
The 2007 fire. We had a really big pine tree just on this corner of the island over here that was so old and so big that it took 3 grown men locking hands to go all the way around it.
And it was lost in the fire?
Yeah, it was lost in the fire.
Okay, now you said this island is how big?
This island is 3.5 miles long and about 1.5 miles wide. It's the largest island in the Okefenokee Swamp.
Okay, and this is probably the most high and dry spot in the swamp?
Yeah, you're roughly 100,
This size.
120 feet, 110 feet above sea level here.
Okay, I'm gonna get a nosebleed at that height. Okay, and you said there was a town. What was the name of the town that was on this island?
Hebbardville.
Hebbardville. And John was telling me that this island had a city of 900 on it, and it was based on logging, and this whole island was clear cut of cypress.
The island was clear cut of pines and everything. It was the headquarters for the Hebbard Cypress Company and a rail switching yard.
Okay. Are there any ruins or?
Yeah, there's old train parts. The old rail beds are still there. The remnants and slag heap of an old blacksmith shop, which I'll show you all of that.
Okay. That would be cool. But there's no like old buildings standing. Or
No,
anything like that.
the Hebbards, they burned the city down when they sold it to the federal government. They burned the city. The only thing that's left of the old buildings and things like that are a few chimney bricks and whatnot. And
Why would they burn it down?
Just lawsuits. They were afraid of being sued. They just didn't want to have the remnants of a town out there that.
That would be so cool now, though, wouldn't it?
It would be pretty cool now.
Okay, there's something over here. What is this over here?
That is the Lee family cemetery.
Oh, okay. Let's go take a look at that. Now, who was the Lee family?
The Lee family were homesteaders that settled in in the Okefenokee in the early to mid 1800s, and they were here for 50 or 60 years. And they had a homestead, a house, a farm.
Okay, and when was the last? Who was the last person buried here? How long ago?
The last person buried here was probably 50 or 60 years ago.
Okay. Well, let's check it.
The family actually does still have the right to be buried out here if they want to be. They've all opted not to be, but they do still have the option.
Okay. All right, let's check out this old cemetery, guys. I noticed they got it fenced and locked off.
Yeah, that's to keep the vandals out.
Is that a part of the old train, or?
Yeah, it's an old piece of strap iron.
Has anyone ever done any metal detecting out here?
It's not allowed.
Really?
Really.
So how many people are buried in this cemetery?
15, I think. Some of the graves are not marked.
They're not marked. Okay, so it's really not that old. It's just kind of unique being in the middle of the Okefenokee Swamp on an island. Yeah, and it's locked up.
Yeah, they do not want you in there. Josephine Lee.
So basically, nature has reclaimed this island in, what, 100 years?
Yeah. And you can still see all the fire damage from the 07 fire.
Yeah. So we're headed towards the switching yard. There was a train out here, huh?
The Hubbard Cypress Company built over 500 miles of rail through the Okefenokee Swamp to log the cypress. They would drive pilings down and put rails across the pilings to bridge the swamp. So they would steam out over the spur line, and they would take the tallest, strongest cypress tree they could find and drill holes through it and use it as a skidder pole. And they would run ropes through the tree out to the cypress, cut the cypress, tie it to the rope, and use the trains to pull it back up to another train.
Cypress must have been worth a lot of money to go through that work to get it.
It was. That used to be a well.
Blackjack trees are even a little higher than the pine.
Okay.
Drop it down.
No, please
Don't do that. We might need it.
And this is part of the old rail bed right here. You can see this.
Area beyond sign is closed.
Yeah, this is the public trail. That back there,
Walk
they don't
here,
want you
I
exploring.
guess.
What's back there?
That's where the old town was.
That's why I want to go.
There's where the big hole is.
But we can't go back there then. That's where the old town lies.
Here's a big hole.
Is there any ruins whatsoever? I mean, like nothing. It's
Nothing.
just
Hole in the ground.
What you see is it. There, like I said, there are piles of bricks and things like that where chimneys used to be, but there are no structures whatsoever, none.
okay. This is actually a piece of a
Steam
locomotive.
Yeah. Steam locomotive. The old boiler.
Wow, that was a pretty big locomotive to be in the middle of a swamp.
Yeah.
How long has that thing been laying there like that?
100 years.
Here's another piece of it here.
The Hubbard Cypress Company, they logged the Okefenokee from 1904 to 1925, and then they sold it to the U.S. government.
Wow, look at this. Look at the rivets. Rivets.
This has been laying here ever since 1925, so it's been there about 100 years.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
We're on top of a little rise of metal slag. There was a blacksmith shop right here, and he just reached down and picked it up, and this is metal shavings.
It's all iron. I mean, the passerby would think it's acorns or something, but it is
A big
It is
pile
a
of
big
metal
pile of-
shavings
Big pile of iron.
on an island in the middle of the Okefenokee. Okay. Okay, right here,
Old dead Indians.
John was just telling me that right here, what we're standing on is the railroad bed, and that's coal. And then what's even more interesting is right over here where you see Dan standing, this is an Indian burial mound right there. You think they ever plundered it or they leave it alone?
They left it alone, but they built around it.
Okay.
They didn't have a whole lot of respect for the indigenous people that came here before them.
Well, it's a wonder they left it and didn't dig it up.
It is a wonder, but they did not. They left it.
So that's not a mound like where the Indians threw their shells and bones and basically their garbage. That is actually, there are Native Americans that lived in the Okefenokee buried right here.
The Seminole Indians.
The Seminole Indians. So this is a Seminole Indian burial mound. How old is this burial mound?
They think it's about 500 years old.
Okay.
Digging up bones.
It's pretty.
Digging up bones.
It's pretty far around. Okay, now you can sing, Dan.
We're going to be digging up bones.
And going to jail. Wow.
An old Indian.
It's pretty high up here. I mean, this is what, 10 feet?
Yeah, I mean, it's the highest point on the island.
Oh, and here's another gopher tortoise hole or something. Some kind of critters living down there. So this is the highest point on the island is the Seminole burial mound with an old railroad bed, pieces of old locomotives, and we're in the heart of a 650,000 acre swamp.
Yes.
I don't know why, but I find that pretty cool.
It is pretty amazing. It is pretty.
We didn't just get a tour, we got a tour from an expert who actually grew up on the Okefenokee. So we got to see things a lot of people don't get to see. We learned a lot about the park, and he's letting us stay in his home. So what we did, we got some filet mignon and some big russets right there. And I am going to pan sear them, and hopefully they'll turn out. I need some butter. I need that butter. You said you had some really good butter.
Yes.
Probably gonna need quite a bit for this many fillets. Okay. And get the pan hot here. We're gonna put these potatoes in the microwave. Let's go ahead and get these bad boys to cook. I used to wrap them, and then I realized it was a complete waste of time to do that. And so now I just throw them in there. And then let's see, we'll put them on about 5 minutes. Oops. Put them on 5 minutes.
This is the butter we're using.
What is this butter? Cream Valley. Sparkman's. Okay. All right, well, what I need to do is melt some of that in a bowl or something. And then we're going to put it all over these steaks. And then, believe it or not, we're going to put Cavenders and a lot of black pepper. My wife actually showed me that, and it's amazing. You wouldn't think so. Yeah, I'm going to need a bunch of butter, probably. And this is a little bacon fat that was left in the pan from this morning. It's just a copper pan. I don't normally like cooking on an electric stove, but this one actually gets really hot. So, all right, once we get these steaks ready to go, I'll turn the camera back on. Okay, the steaks are done, and they are so tender. Here's the potatoes and the steaks, and I mean, it's just, they're done. I wish I could, here, Dan, pull one of those apart. Let's see what it looks like. Cut one of those. I had it actually. Yeah, there it goes. That is a good medium.
Yeah.
Good medium steak with a nice char. That's what the black pepper and the Cavenders do, is it gives it that char on the outside, and then you cut it. Looks like something you would get at Ruth Chris, you know? So, baked potatoes, we cut them in half so we can maybe save some tomorrow for home breakfast potatoes. Since Julie's not here, there's no green stuff tonight. This is a man meal, meat and potatoes. And there you have it, the finished product. That's probably gonna need a little salt. Give us the verdict, Dr. Dan. Need a little salt, doesn't it? Don't need any salt, perfect?
Perfect.
Okay, there you have it, guys. That's the payback meal for Swamper John over there. And next time you see us, who knows where we'll be. Julie will be back Tuesday. Hope to have this video out Thursday. Thank you for watching.